crossed. Get my head round it.
I've just realised I don't think I clicked on the go live button. After all that, I've just clicked. I just checked we're live. It's
Really?
not a good start, is it? Right. So I don't think we've. If anybody's in the anybody's in the chat, just give us a hello, just to make sure that we are live this time round. Because I've just worn Luke out after all that.
Is that a retake then?
Retake step 2. You know what I mean?
Good evening, everybody.
Okay.
It won't be the first time, will it? Let's be honest. I'm about as predictable as Anyway, so if we've only just gone live, welcome everybody to episode 8 of the DMC live chat. I'm joined again by my good friends Martin from Dinky Restorations. Good evening, Martin, and Luke from Diecast Outlaw. Oh, there we are. We are live because Mick's, bless him, has just said I'm here. Thanks, Mick. We ought to do that every week to say, Henrik, good evening, sir. This is all going to be on the fly because my personal assistant, Mr. Lazi-low Polsky from Lazi-low Collectibles, is buggered off this weekend. He's busy, so there's just the three of us. So we'll sorry, Luke, to do this to you, but we'll go for take 2.
It's not good enough, PJ.
It's eating into the time, mate. So we said we wouldn't have any problem filling the time up. So, Luke, bless you. What have you been doing this week so we can let the viewers know?
This week's video, most of you would have seen it. It's 1982 Pontiac Trans Am. It's kit from Knight Rider. I had this model as a kid, absolutely love it, and that's why I restored it. I've done a little bit of work to the back because this had lights, but obviously the kit didn't, and I've just made it more realistic to the TV series car. So yeah, absolutely love that one. It's
a and that's an Ertl, if I remember from last night, isn't it?
Ertl, yeah. Obviously, it didn't have the. Yeah, I'll just try and get it working quick. I'm still waiting for the micro switch for this. Well, touch these 2 wires together with a screwdriver. There we go.
Sounds like an heist.
I fitted the scanner to this. This car didn't have it. Cool. So, yeah. I love it. Over the moon with that.
I love that. Yeah.
For next week, I've been working just on a couple of hours today. For next week, we've got 1959 Chevy Impala. Now, I've done all the work to the casting. It's in undercoat. I've trace coated it. I'll rub that down in the morning, and then I'm going to do a custom paint job on that. So you'll have to come back on Thursday and check out what I've done with that.
Not a problem. As we were saying, well, you spent a bucket load more money than I thought you'd actually done in the first place. So
yeah, I've invested in a 3D printer. Like most of you know, I like to customise my cars, or most of them, if I can. Now I struggle to get the wheels that I want. Sometimes, well, you do. You waste a lot of money because you buy models really just for the wheels, and then it's the models useless. Then after then, it's a shame as well to waste them. So I've invested in a 3D printer, and obviously the cure in the wash. And then once I bought it, the software that I wanted to use, my laptop wouldn't run it. So I had to go out and fork out on a new laptop as well. So I'm £800 lighter. Hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll get the hang of it and I should be able to print some nice stuff.
After my spend last night, that's positively cheered me up. Good evening to Jessica in the chat. Bear with us in the chat. Laz isn't here, so I'm trying to keep balancing. Wow, balancing balls. That sounds bad, doesn't it? Anyway, moving on. Martin, how's things been going, you sir?
Yeah, not too bad at all. Been a busy week, trying to get stuff done for me going away again. I spend a lot of time away in the summer, as most of my subscribers know by now. I've just actually completed this one this week. If we can get it in the right direction. This is the Chipperfield Circus Camel crane truck.
It's
Get it in
lovely,
the
that's
crane.
mine.
Nice, yeah.
Yeah.
I love the
To be honest with you,
mate.
it was a bit of a struggle. As you'll see the video, I've not cut anything out of the video, so I'm not sure how long it is yet. I've not edited it, but it's interesting because if you've never done one before, don't be shy of doing it. It may look a bit tricky while I'm doing it, but most things are when you're doing them on camera.
Yeah.
Because you've got to take in consideration you're trying to explain to somebody how things are done. So it always looks typical when it's not, and especially when you've got fat fingers like mine, and little tiny screws don't go together where they're supposed to, and springs pop out where they're not supposed to, and things don't fit right. So it was fun. It was a mission, and I definitely do one again now and now to do it. Yeah. So I've been doing that, and I've been doing some work for next month. What have we got? Matchbox Ford Zodiac. We got that. We've done the Motorway Express coach in the red and the black. That's a Corgi Major. And a Canard 24 French Dinky. That's coming up on the channel. And two Bedford S1 tankers, one mobile gas and one milk tanker.
The man in the machine, he never stops and never lets us down. Well done, buddy.
All for July.
Just like, I like doing one a year, and I think I've done well if I'm lucky. So that being said, I drove the post hole last week in my little Audi, and this week I threaded the post hole. So there's my contribution to what I've done this week.
You didn't break out in a sweat then, PJ?
I don't know. It should be done by Christmas. I'm already 2 challenges behind on everybody else, but there have been extenuating circumstances. I've got a bit of some stuff going on, but we're not going to go into that. So, thank you again. Reiterate, thank you to the guys in the chat that have joined us. Bless you. As you can see in the screen, we've got a slightly different layout this week. What I've put up is a list of what we've got coming up in 2024, and we're going to start doing topics every other episode. So last week we had a guest. This week we're going to do a topic. Next week we've got JMO, as we know him, Paul from Pimp My Diecast will be joining us. Following that, we'll have another topic, which is going to be a disassembly of a model, etc., etc. Right through to Christmas, when we're all going to spend a bit of Christmas money, and we'll be talking about our top 10 tools that we use. So to kick this off, this topic we've just called it. It's a bit generic, but we called it the model, and basically this is where you start. So, where do you go for your models? How do you assess it? What do you think it's going to cost you? This kind of thing. Well, our resident professional eBay buyer, Mr. Dare, he already does his purchases once a month. Do you want to kick us off, Martin, with how you go about?
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that. Yeah, firstly, as you know, most of my channel is aimed at beginners, really, or people who are just starting out, or medium skilled people, or something like that. So it's always good to know where you can source your diecast from. And I think, firstly, you've got to decide what you want to do. Do you want to customize them? Do you want to code free them? Either take it apart and make something completely different out of it, or do you want to just do a total restoration and put it back to as near original as you possibly can? So I think really they're the 3 questions what you need to ask yourself, what you want to do with it. And then that'll lead you on to what type of vehicle you want to do, whether it be lorry, car, army vehicle, farm, agricultural stuff, anything like that. Once you've decided what you want to be looking at, go on eBay. That's always my first port of call, because you do get some good deals on there. And sometimes you really have to sit on stuff and wait patiently. Sometimes I've waited 6, 8 months, up to a year to get what I wanted at some point. So things to look out for on eBay, especially, is because you're only looking at pictures and descriptions. Ignore anybody that tells you it's a rare model, because you've got to work that out for yourself, because some of that's just more of a clickbait, in my opinion. Because if you probably scroll down the page, you'll probably find 2 more of the same thing half the price. So don't be jumping on something because you think it's rare. It's not necessarily rare. Study the pictures. That's the main thing. Study the pictures and read the description. The pictures are most important. Zoom in at the pictures and get a close look. You're looking at the glass to see where it's cracked or broken.
Excuse me.
Looking at the whether it's got all the doors, whether it's got the obviously the obvious things like boot and bonnet, and if it's something that you're looking for, then do a bit of research on that vehicle to see if it has door cards, because it not necessarily, you can't always see from the pictures that it needs things like door cards, like the Jensen Interceptor and other vehicles have door cards and stuff, but you can't see in the pictures, which when you get it was probably missing. So see if the parts are available for a start off. You need to make sure the parts are available. So my suggestion would be, if you see something on eBay, put it on your watch list. Give yourself a week or a few days to study it, look for other parts, look for spare parts on the usual eBay sites. There's quite a lot of eBay sellers on there what sell spare parts, and not just model supplies. There's a lot of others on there. I urge you to check them out as well, because you get some good deals on some of them people. And just look in general to see if it's possible for you to do that, whether you can get the spare parts, whether you can get the paint that you want for it, whether you're airbrush or rattle can in it. But do study the photographs, really, and then from the photographs, work out a spare parts list that you need, and see if you can source the spare parts and how much they're going to cost you. Weigh that up against the cost of the model and the postage, and then you've got to look at your total and say, well, is it really worth 20 quid? You know, where you can go further down, maybe a week later, a few days later, there'll be another one which has got all the parts that you need on it. And it may be like £2 or £3 dearer, but even then it's going to be cheaper than buying a spare part. So you got to weigh it up. You've got to think about it. Use your watch list as your Bible, because you can always go back. Sometimes I'll have 3 or 4 of the same model on my watch list, just checking and going back and checking, making sure I can get decals, making sure I can get the tires, making sure I can get windscreens. And sometimes don't overlook somebody else's restoration, what they're selling on eBay. I quite often find some, because a lot of people don't want somebody else's restoration, they want to do it themselves, but that person has spent money on new tires, new windscreen, new parts for it. So if you can get it at a good price because nobody else wants it, then you've got yourself a good source of spare parts. Or you can strip that down and redo it yourself. It's entirely up to you. But you know, that's just how I look at it. That's how I do things. But there's also Facebook selling pages. I don't really get involved in the Facebook selling pages very much, because in my area they're not a lot. It's usually cheap plastic cars, stuff like non-branded stuff, bag of kids cars that somebody's trying to sell. So I don't have much of luck, and the stuff that does come up on there is very expensive. I think a lot of people think they've got the crown jewels when they're trying to sell a die-cast on Facebook. Charity shops, I've never had much luck in charity shops, depending where you go, depending where you live, I suppose. I've got 3 charity shops where I live, and none of them have any die-cast. I think that one shop did once, and they were so grossly overpriced. Most charity shops now, if you look on eBay, have got most of their die-cast stock is on eBay. You'll notice it by the little flag symbol, and it says on it charity. So, and they have people trolling eBay, and they know what the prices are. So you're not necessarily going to get a bargain off that either. So just shop around, take your time, don't rush. Look at what you're doing. Look for what you want. Take your time.
It helps in your. Before we go any further, this is an ideal opportunity for anybody that's in the chat to directly ask Martin or Luke a question. It doesn't have to be about the topic that we're talking about tonight. Feel free to any of the models that you've seen Martin, Luke, or me do in the past. By all means, ask any questions on any of that kind of stuff. It's not just about this topic tonight. It's a completely open forum for everybody.
Just don't ask me age.
He's not 21.
Buy me drink first, and I might. Buy me drink first, and I'll let you tell.
It helps in your case, Martin, that you've got a plan because you collect a specific line of models. It's not called Martin Dinky Restorations for no reason, right?
Yeah. Well, what I tend to do, how I initially set out to do Dinky toys because of my age and the era that I grew up with Dinky toys, and I just like the look of them. So I decided to do the Dinky toys most of the time, but there is times when you can't get what you want. So then you think, well, okay, I'll try something else. I'll do a Corgi toys or a Matchbox or something like this, and it does work out that way. But I do try, and when I'm looking for Dinky toys especially, or it's to try and get something what nobody else has done, if you understand what I mean.
I've said that to you in the past. You go on your channel, I haven't seen half them models before.
Yeah, you pick up, you can search around and pick something there's loads of, no disrespect to you, Luke, there's loads of Chevys, there's loads of this, there's loads of the other, and I think, I don't want to do another one of them. I don't want to do one of them because they get done to death, So I like to choose something different, what nobody's ever seen. It might be something ridiculous like a crane loader or something like that, or something which is obscure. And I just like to do things like this, or lorries that nobody's seen before, or they've probably seen them in catalogue, but never seen one stripped down. I mean, I haven't seen that record I've done now. That's the first one I've seen. I've done it myself, but I haven't seen another one on YouTube being done before. Some of them you wish you hadn't started when you start taking it apart. And I think there's quite a few of those where you start to take it apart and you think, oh no, what have I got myself in for? And you've actually filmed it. I will be honest with you, there's one or two models I have stripped down, and then I've not given up, but I've given up filming it. Because it was just too much. The video had gone for too long, and it was tricky to do on camera. I think quite a few people don't understand how complicated, how different it is to do a restoration or a custom or anything else with a camera running, because you have to remember that you're filming it for somebody who's watching it. So you've got to do it in a way that people can understand what you're doing. Instead of flitting from one to the other, and you have to watch your P's and Q's, obviously. And it is awkward because you're trying to pick things up around the camera. You've got to keep the camera, you've got to keep the model in view, you've got to keep it in focus. It adds that extra time to it. And if you've got something really tricky and really, really complicated, it becomes not fun anymore. So I have abandoned a few projects like that on camera and done them off camera. But not many, but just one or two.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think this goes back to the old adage that if it becomes a job, it's not a hobby anymore.
Yeah.
It's if you take the fun out of it, and you can. I think that's what's affected me, and I don't mean to sound this. I mean, I love what we do, but if you're editing videos just to do something like this, and you're also editing videos to create a model, all you're doing is editing videos. And you kind of whether you've got the skill or what, it doesn't matter. You've got to have the love for doing it, and I love the community part of it more as much as I do the restoration part of it. Like our Friday night tavern, as the boys will know, is more is as much as a well-being get together as it is talking about, because we go off at some very dodgy tangents on a Friday night. It's a bit like Fight Club, but it's a place where we can all get together, have a chat. There's no risk. It's a good bit of fun. And anybody, if you know us, come and join us on a Friday night. You'll see me put adverts out on the Facebook page. Come and join us. Right, enough ranting and raving. Luke, where do you start? Where's your go-to?
I would say it was eBay, but I've gone more into car boots. I seem to have a bit more luck at the car boots. And I have done, you'll go around the car boot, you'll see boxes on the floor. You can have a rummage through. You can find 2 or 3 of the same model.
Yeah.
And they'll all have different parts broken, but at the 3 of them, or 4 of them even, you can make a good car and you can get them really
£12 each.
You can get them really cheap. Now, as for, like Martin says, you're always looking for damage, especially on eBay. You'll find some of them, and I fell victim to it, especially with roofs broken. They'll hide it when they're taking the pictures. The angle it so you can't see it.
Yeah.
So when you bought it, you've committed. Like you could buy a car, you think, right, it needs screens, it needs wheels. You'll go and spend that. When the car comes, the roof's bent, the post is cracked, and then you committed. Then you bite the bullet, you get on and you do it.
Yeah.
But, if you find there's only a couple of pictures on there, you've got to be wary of it. I've been bit, and probably you have the same, Martin, off eBay.
Yeah, definitely, definitely.
So it's sort of like that. And then I pick cars that I like, and then I'm sort of picturing it. What am I going to do with it?
So, break off a second, chaps. Sorry.
So then it boils down to what wheels am I going to need. So like with me, 143 scale, they're quite scarce to get hold of. That's why I've invested in the 3D printer. So hopefully that won't be a problem anymore. And then go from there.
It's going to be. I realised that we hadn't put for those that have joined us in the middle. It's a different layout. We've put the topics that we're going to be talking about over the year, plus split up with guest appearances. We're trying to get PB from PB Restorations to join us, but it's in Australia. It's a ridiculous o'clock, so that might have to be a pre-recorded version. I'd like to get Nick from Crap Old Nick. If I'm hoping Martin can convince him to come and join us. As I say, we've got Paul from Pimp My Diecast join us. Anyway, so we're going to be covering all these topics, and I've realised whether it fits into finishing touches where we put 3D printing. Because it is the hot potato at the minute. It really is. Just for those that... sorry, I'll break off for a second. I'm just going to reply to Play Apps. Who says, I hope Laz is okay. He's absolutely fine. He's spring cleaning before his partner gets home, so he's doing the housework. That's just poor excuse for not joining us tonight. I'll shame him. I'll name and shame him. He'll chew my butt off when he sees me, but that's where he is. So don't worry, Play Apps. He's absolutely fine. So yeah, 3D printing I think is going to be an area that we need to cover. So there might be a bit of rescheduling going on, just so that let everybody know that myself, Luke, Michael from Gravesend, Australia, Diecast, Salvage, it's a very
happy.
Man with longest YouTube name for diecast restoration, based out of Australia, and PB and Pete from PB Restorations. I think we're going to end up all having the same 3D printer setup. Luke has been very generous to me, so the kit that we're talking about is split into two halves, which is the actual 3D printer itself, and then there is another unit which is a curer, a washer. You'll correct me if I'm wrong, Luke. By all means, shout me down. And we're all going to be learning off each other. So it's going to be a really good community project, this, I think, for us all. It's all right saying, well, I've got a 3D printer, but each 3D printer is slightly different from another one, and you need to tweak it slightly different. But to have 4 people with the same printers and the same setup is going to be great. So that's coming up at some point.
Planning, PJ, we can help other restorers out, can't we? Hopefully, with parts in the very near future. Fingers crossed, all goes well. That should be I think a good thing for the community as well.
Absolutely. What we've done up till this point is worked on spare parts that we've collected from breakdowns and disassemblies. You know, the likes of Kev from Banger Racers. Kev has a lot of spare parts due to the nature of the models that he creates, and he's been very generous with giving out spare parts, as Andy Bourne, people like that, as Luke and Martin. We all kind of share what we've got. There's no costs involved. We do this as a we like to support each other more than anything else. Obviously, if somebody's going to be out of pocket because they're printing decals at £1 a sheet, then we try to help other people out. Andy's got talk of the devil. Andy Bourne. Good evening, Andy. Excellent 3D printing. Can you do me a door mirror for my Dinky Capri 1/25th scale, my friend? When we've got us, I nearly swore. When we've got it together, we'll be right on it, mate.
I need a wing mirror for the one I've got there. That's missing one, so that's one on my bucket list, Andy. So as soon as you've done it, definitely send you one out, mate. One
of the things that we was talking about off air was the ability to mirror an object. So if you've got the left-hand door mirror, you can mirror that object to make it the right-hand door mirror and print it off. So these are worrying, nervous, exciting times. I'm not sure what we're going to get out of all this, but I'm hoping it's going to really go well.
Yeah.
Back to the topic at hand. I'll just re-add Mr. Dairy's back. You right there, Mark? Oh, I've muted him. Bless him. Don't tell him. Can't unmute you just because they chased him. Are you there, Mark? Can't unmute your guest because they chose to mute themselves. You've muted yourself, Martin. There you go. I think we can hear you. Yeah, we got you. We've also been joined by Kev. Crikey, I don't know. You start talking about these people, they just appear out of thin air. It's like magic. You're like a wizard, Harry. Good evening, Kev. PJ, thanks for the mention. Always happy to help with any spare parts. Bless you, Kev. And that's true. Kev's been very generous to me and to the rest of the community. He creates banger races, so by the nature of what Kev creates, he ends up with a lot of spare parts, and he's very, very generous, and as has Andy with his decals, helping other people out. So, oh my God, only shame now. Even though just in from doing some corgis. I'm hoping that's corgi cars and not. Never mind. Moving on. As you can see, guys, we haven't got Laz here tonight. Laz is put everybody's mind at rest. He's spring cleaning for the other half. He may even be baking, or he's not ill. There's no family problems. He's just bottled it because he's got to get the apartment clean for his other half. So there we go. Right, that's enough of me waffling about that kind of stuff. So go back to the topic at hand. I started by trying to collect everything I had as a kid, and I was a big. If Ron was here, he would know. I'm a big Batman 1966 nut. Kev has sent me several cars, Batman 66 cars. I must have about 10 of them now. I need to have a word with Shane Olmwood because I might be able to supply him with some spares. Omnia, sorry. But I'm also a big Jerry Anderson fan. So Joe 90, Captain Scarlet, Thunderbirds, you name it, that kind of thing. So with that in mind, if you go and look on eBay for, I don't know, Thunderbird 2, which I've done recently, and I found a model and it was £12. But that model had got so many parts missing, it was going to cost an additional £42 to put it right. That's before you even sprayed it and painted it. So then you've got to ask yourself, is it? I back up what the boys are saying. Is it worth it? Is that a model you want to step away from, or is it a model you want so badly you're going to spend the money on it? Martin knows, and he'll take the mickey out of me, but I was after a reel-to-reel for months and months and months and months, and I played everybody about it. I got one eventually, but it was a case of waiting until the price was right before I invested in getting one. And I'm happy with what I've got. It's put my mind to ease. It's another object, as Martin knows, on the back shelf that probably never gets used again. But we're both like that because we both got the dentist moulding kit, didn't we? And they're sat on the back shelves like. Hi, PJ, do I have an opportunity to turn my microphone down a bit? That's enough.
That's a first. That's a first.
That's a first.
We couldn't hear you.
We couldn't hear you last night, so let me. I will try and do that. Bear with me.
Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. Yeah, you got to decide. You got to decide whether you're going to do if the model's worth it or not. At the end of the day, I always wait and put it on the back burner and just go back and look and look and look and look. I think I was after a ferry master a long time, and they were fetching good money. The guy ferry master, and I waited 6-8 months. And I kept looking at stuff. I did bid on a few, got outbid. They went for silly money. And then one evening, I think it was a Sunday actually. It was due up at about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I put a bid in about before I went to bed, about 12:30, something like that. And I woke up in the morning and I'd won it. And that was good because I think nobody else had bothered to bid on it that time of the day. So you just got to be patient. You just got to be patient. That's all I can say. Just be patient. You'll get it in the end.
Our partner in crime, Mr. Lazi-low Collectibles. Sorry, couldn't make it today. You just bottled it, my friend. You just bottled it.
Yeah.
You're very well. Good show, guys. Bless you. Andy's saying, I'm waiting for a Thunderbird 2 at a good price. Got one, and one without the pod. I'll get back to you on that one, Andy. I need 2 for my project. The problem with the TB2 is, I love you both. The trouble with the TB2 is the variations. we've talked about caustic soda in the past. I'll put the bottom half of TB2 in a caustic soda before I realised that the bottom half of the TB2 was plastic and not metal. So I'm looking for the bottom half of a TB2, but it's the blue one with the black plastic, if that makes sense, because the later models, or the newer models, if you like, are all green. And you go back even further, there's a different version from the 60s, like so.
Yeah. I've got one. I've got an all blue one with no. It's not black at the bottom. It's all blue with the pod and Thunderbird 4, but it hasn't got the. I've got one leg missing.
Right. Well, this goes. I know we don't want to talk about 3D printing, but one of the other things that we haven't mentioned is the three of us, in fact, several other members that are in the community, met up at toy fairs, and we go. When you first start going to toy fairs, you'll grab anything and everything that you think is going to be of any value to doing a video. But I've learnt over the times that we've been going, which is about 3 or 4 years now, me and Martin and JMO, you then start to learn to go there just for spares, or you're looking for something like Luke saying he may buy 2 or 3 models to complete one. And I don't know if we're frowned upon when we go to these toy fairs, because I'm say stall holder, we're looking for the crap you've got under your desk or under your your stall light. That's what we're looking for. We're not looking for brand new boxed up models. Andy saying I'm green, fully sustainable. Good lad. We've missed you, Andy. It's good to sorry. It's good to see you, mate. Hopefully we'll see you on the Friday night soon. James saying no, I don't. I still buy garbage. I'm not going to swear on YouTube because I'll get banned, and we don't want that. So yeah, there's with the Facebook thing, I was very lucky. I managed to get the fire engine Merryweather that's got the pump on it with the ladder, and it pumps water out when you push the button down.
Yeah.
And a Captain Scarlet patrol car, the red one. You know, the one we talk about. The one I mean, Martin.
Yeah.
Both painted Tango red. And 4 or 5 other little dinkies for £10.
Bargain.
I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. So it's all about, for me, it's all about patience, waiting, because you'll get there. You'll find that model if you just hang in there. But there's a lot of people saying, "Well, I'm costing this from what I've seen on eBay." Yeah, well, that's great, but it's been overcosted on eBay in the first place, and you're still not going to sell. So go for what you want. Go for what you enjoy. If you're just starting the hobby, go for something small. Go for something simple. Build up your confidence, like I did. We're talking about models left off. When I first met Martin, I was doing a transporter, and that transport is still in a bloody box, and it's the one with the brass pistons on it, and that's from 4 years ago. So, it is what it is. You build your confidence up to these bigger models that the likes that Martin and Luke do, and other people. But don't be afraid. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong. If you're doing it as a YouTube channel. Which is another topic I never even thought about including. We didn't include that. Setting up your YouTube channel. We might be moving into next year. I might have January and February ready for next year at this rate. Like, so that's me. I'm a bit all over the place. I've got no set plan like Martin has. I think me and Luke might be similar to that. We'd go for what we like, and
definitely.
Well, yeah. It's. I'd like to do one of each of the Dinky toys produced. I'm not one for doing. I think like the Trojan van, for example, they did about 7 or 8 versions of that, with different liveries. I do a couple. That will to me that's fine. You know, and things like that. There is some that you can't get, and they are very hard to get hold of. Some models are very hard because they're so overpriced. For reasons I don't know why they go certain things. I think it's the Dinky Toys Jakarta truck, the one which's got the hand on the side and it winds the pallet tray in and out from the back. Yeah. Yeah. It's very expensive. Very expensive. I have got one, minus the doors. I will go and do it at some point. It's a good model. It's good, but they are expensive. Very, very expensive. It's like the big.
Apart from the most expensive, that might not necessarily mean the one that you're missing or the one that you. I never asked you this before. What is that unicorn dinky vehicle that you're after? The one that's you've not come across yet, but you really want. Have you got to that point yet?
No, I have seen them. What I want, I've seen all the ones that I want. It's just they're not in the price range at the moment. If I was a collector and collecting them as a collector, not a restorer, then yes, I could have bought them. Paid the money for them. But the ones to restore, I wouldn't want to destroy a perfectly good one or anything like that just for the sake of it. So trying to find the ones that I want in a restorable condition with the availability of the parts is the trouble at the minute. Making sure that they got the parts, because a lot of if they're not common, then a lot of these companies won't make the parts. Excuse me, I got a tickle. Won't make the parts. So you'll struggle to make the parts. That's where the 3D printing comes in handy.
Yeah.
This is Well, I don't want to. I'm really worried that we're going to end up relying on this too much, and it bites us in the butt. But still, we will definitely try. I think there's enough. There's enough.
Be a handy tool to have.
Well, it is regarding. You see, like Luke was saying about the wheels. There's a lot of 1/64 scale wheels you can buy to customize or change your car or vehicle or bus or whatever. But when it comes to the 143 or the you see, it's difficult because Dinky and Corgi their scales weren't exact. You can't say yes, that's a 143. They varied a lot, in their sizes and their scale. So you can't pin the scale right down to the exact scale. That's a 143, that's a 135 because they varied a lot. Obviously, because of the vehicles they're using, like the lorries. If it was 143, it would be quite heavy. It's a good size. So it's difficult to get wheels for them. Some of the Dinkies and Corgis had the 12mm tires. Some had the 14. Some had the 17 wheel diameter. So it is difficult. I tend to use, if I want something to near enough to scale, I use the railway O scale, which I find near enough for a Dinky or a Corgi, which is the O scale.
Yeah.
But even then, that's okay if you're going to buy loads for your back of your low loader for a lorry and stuff like this, and people, characters and buildings. That's okay. But there again, you have a shortage of wheels. So this is where the 3D printing is going to come in handy. Like Ron from Somo Diecast, he prints his own wheels out for his custom cars. So it'd be nice to be able to print wheels out for just to enhance your Dinky or your Corgi, just a little bit, because sometimes some of the Matchbox Super Kings and King size, they make nice castings for Sierra, the Amiga. Well, there's quite a few you could think of, but they got them horrible, great big fat wheels on them.
Yeah.
And they ruin the model. To me, in my opinion, they ruin the model. But if you can get a nice wheel, what would fit under them, there's a lot of Jags. Kevin, I know you're watching, so do be careful with your Jags. Yeah.
It is an ongoing.
If you can get a nice set of wheels for a Jag, and that would be great. I know Michael printed me out some resin printed from Velocity Jaguar, and I've got those, and they were a nice wheel, and they fit nicely on a Velocity Jaguar, and they fit on the Matchbox one as well. So yeah, wheels do make the car, I think, in the long run. I've got quite a few Matchbox king size, and I'm thinking, you know what can I do with them wheels? Because they're flipping horrible, you know. But that's one of them things. So hopefully 3D printing will cure that.
Well, I'm
We've got money to spend.
Yeah, get it done.
There's going to be a massive falling out if this doesn't pay off.
It'll be Luke's quick
We'll
fit.
blame Michael.
It'll be quick fit.
Quick fit,
yeah, quick fit.
I'm just gonna run down these run down the comments, boys. So Andy saying I'm waiting for a TB2 at a good price, Thunderbird 2 at a good price. Got one and one without the pod. No, that's it. That when you talk about the pod, that's interesting because I had a Space 1999 Eagle lander, and you can make a 3D printed version of the cabin that's in the middle of it. So I bet you bottom dollar there's a plan out there to make a TB2 pod. So that's something we'll look at some point in the future. And Andy's saying I need 2 for my project. Okay. Lazi saying I love you both. Well, we love you too, sweetheart. There you go. Paul saying get a room. You're just jealous. Andy's garage on green, fully sustainable. Play apps is roll on the floor laughing. And JMO still buys shite. Don't we all, says Mick. So regarding Taverners Friday, we look at, it'd be good to see you, Andy. Missing you. Play apps. Matchbox did TB2 out in 1992. Yeah, it was. It was revisited. They played it on bit. They bring the series out every now and again, and then they do the Tracy Island. But go just up on that point, Martin said once contacted me and said there's a Tracy Island. Can you remember telling me about that Tracy Island on Facebook?
Yeah, Tracy Island, yeah.
And it was at the time Martin didn't know, but it was like what's about 40 odd quid. And then somebody near me was selling one for 20, complete. And you know, so be careful. It's just reiterating that point. Have the patience just to, you know, don't go and spend it on the first one that you see. Yes. Where do we get to? Paul saying, Jamie saying, split the MG today, Mick. Do the road sweeper after. Okay. This goes back to a conversation from last night in the tavern.
Yeah.
Andy's saying, yes, play ups. I had the gift set and sold it. Moment of madness. Yes, I've seen it. It's still on sale. You can still get it off Facebook, the latest version. James saying I have the Matchbox TB2. Andy's saying true PJ, hence I waited 2 years to start my Capri, confidence to do it justice. So yeah. Build up your skills and just have patience and learn from people that have been going before you. There's no shame in that. Just to go, I love getting a lot of parts from an auction. Then you have to match the parts with a model. Absolutely, that's what it's all about.
I've done that.
Even if you put them parts in storage for later usage, you know.
There actually at the moment on eBay there is a lot going on. I think it ends in about an hour or so. I haven't bid on it because I did put a tentative bid on it, but it wasn't the highest bid, if you know what I mean. And it's basically a bunch of base plates, bodies, spare parts, window units. Somebody's took a load of cars apart, attempted to restore them, and just got a whole pile of bodies, seats, windows, wheels, tires, axles, all in a big pile. So I did study the pictures. I did put a bid in, And I thought, well, they got outbid, and I thought, no, I'm not going to go any further than that because in my opinion, it wasn't worth any more that I was prepared to bid for it. You know what I mean? And then you've got to get into a bidding war because you think, now I've bid on it and I've been outbid, I'm going to put another £2 on it and another £5 on it. You know what I mean? And it ends up going way beyond its true value. You know, because you don't know what's missing because it's been took apart. There's photographs going to get wrong, but doesn't mean to say everything's going to be there. You'll end up with you can load of body shells and base plates, but don't match up. So it wasn't a risk I was prepared to take for that amount of money.
This starts off an all different discussion that really upsets me is when people will take a good model, like especially if I see anything that's Jerry Anderson, it's been demolished just to sell it as separate parts. You know, why would you do that if it's not other than just to make money, which I can understand. Yeah. But it's bloody heartbreaking when you're looking for something and somebody's broken down a model just to sell the engine or the cabin in the middle or the front end or the legs. You know, what they could have.
But it happens, though, PJ. It happens, mate. When J-Mo probably know the same. When I was doing the 00 railway trying restorations, you'd be looking down the list on eBay for locomotives and stuff, and you see, oh, that's a nice locomotive, and it'd be one price, and then you look further down, and the same seller is selling the tender for it, the cold tender at the back. Yeah. Instead of selling it together, they separated it, so you're paying one price for the train loco, one price for the tender. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, it's not good practice as far as I'm concerned. But at the end of the day, the guy wants to make money. If you're going to pay, you're going to pay. You know, simple as that.
One of the worst things I saw was I went down to my local shop, one of my local antique shops. And there's a guy goes to Stafford where the three of us have been recently, and he buys models and he sells them at a markup price. So we would go to somewhere like Stafford and get a Dinky model or a Corgi model for, I don't know, between £3 and £7, depending on the quality. But he would then come back and stick a markup on that of another couple of pounds. And the worst experience I saw of that is when he had a unit and a trailer, and he put £7 on the trailer and £7 on the unit. Yeah. So instead of selling, the one thing for £10, is making if you want the whole thing, you've got to pay £14.
Yeah. Well, that's where you got to walk away, haven't you? And say, okay, I'll go look somewhere else.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Back to the. Thank you, guys. The amount of comments we're getting is brilliant. So thank you for taking part. It's brilliant. So where do we get to?
Sorry, PJ, to interrupt. I just want to say, if Ian Hulley's in the chat, evening, Ian. How are you, mate? Hope you're doing well.
Make yourself known, Ian, please, and give us a hi or something along them lines. J-Mo's shouting, if I did that, I'd get nothing I wanted. Wow, okay. Kev, I do keep the spare parts for the Jags. Oh, a little needle in the back of Mr. Dare there.
Yeah.
You should see his face on a Friday night when Kev's done another restoration of a Bangor Jag.
I'm not too bad with the Matchbox. I'll give him a due, Kev. I don't mind you destroying the Matchbox one because they have horrible wheels on them and stuff like this. But a Pelosty or anything like that, I do get a little bit of a cold chill down the back of my spine, I must admit. No, he did a good job. Kevin did a good job. He did a great job on them cars. Fantastic.
He does. We don't begrudge him. It's just just a moment of humour. It cheers us all up. Henrik is saying, I just brought the container that hangs under the spaceship from Moonbase, the Eagle Lander Alpha. It cost me 40 AUD, which somebody can do a translation on that.
Euros, isn't it? Yeah, euros.
So
Mick,
that'd be
translate, Mick.
£35, something like that. But I was missing one for my spaceship. Yeah. It's a kicker, Henrik, when you have to spend that kind of money. I got the complete model for. I got 5 knocked off it, so I got the complete model for 35 quid, which was a result. Andy saying, yes, I'm pleased you do, Kev. Thanks for the XJS parts. Play apps. With 3D printing, it's hard to create the 3D STL files. We're going to have to do a session on this 3D stuff.
Definitely.
We're going to have to do a topic on it.
I think we do that once we know what we're doing ourselves.
Yeah,
sometime next year. Then
it's going to be a while. I think that's a good thing. That if we're starting from a point of not knowing what we learn, we can pass on. So I think that's a good thing.
I've been watching plenty of videos, so I kind of know what I'm doing. Until you get it all up and running and start playing about, that's when the learning curves start. Then, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't you find that watching the videos? I watch a lot of YouTube videos on different subjects, not just diecast, everything else. But don't you find if you're looking for something in Pacific, there's so many videos of people doing the same thing but so many different ways, and you think to yourself, I think when I was restoring riverboats years ago, when YouTube was just like starting out, and I was looking for things, and there were a particular thing I was trying to do, and I think there were 6 guys doing the same thing differently, and I thought, which is the best one? And you got to try and then think which is the best one. You look at it, that's a good idea. I can try that. And then somebody else, you watch another video, and it's, hello, he's done it that way, and it gets confusing.
Yeah,
because there's so many different videos out there on different ways of doing stuff. It is confusing sometimes.
It's going to be interesting. With that in mind, Martin, it's going to be interesting when we do the next topic, which is disassembly.
Yeah.
How each of us approaches doing the disassembly. Because
exactly the same. Yeah, on a smaller scale. Yeah. Because it's like painting. It's like it's like priming, rubbing down, different ways of doing things.
$25 is that $25? I got a tracer on for $25 CAD. Help! I'm not good at money conversions. Is that good? Is that good, Jessica, or expensive? 25 CAD? Is that Canadian?
Canadian, yeah.
Canadian. Yeah. In that case, then that sounds like a good price. That's about I don't know, between 18.
Jerry's had some good stuff off them auctions in Canada. I'll tell you.
Yeah.
He's done some good deals over there.
Mix. That's well. I mean, one of the things was we talked about where you get your models from. How do you go on, Jerry, in Canada? Is getting stuff easy for you or difficult, or where do you get your stuff from? Mickey's saying, "Cheers, pick my diecast." Jerry saying the batteries leaked and corroded off a wire, cleaned it up and sold the wire. Thunderbirds, oh go, good lad. Mm-hmm. Anybody that can restore a Jerry Anderson vehicle, you're right in my ballpark. Andy is saying, I've got a Joe 90 car to do. Need to match the paint to a spray can colour. Thought he's had a battery colour, but not so. That was a donation. Yeah. We can't. Didn't we hit on a colour for the Joe 90? Martin?
No, it's one of them. Trouble is the old colours that have been enamel. It will be different. A lot of them used a lot of Dinky and Corgis used a different sort of undercoat to bring out that different shade, like the Captain Scarlet and stuff. You know, the best you can do is to get is as near as some sort of metallic paint near enough to it. I mean, I think Andy's stuff is,
Sorry, Mark. Go on.
Oh no, I was going to say that with me, I suffer from shade blindness, so I have a very, very, very difficult job of matching up shades of paint. That's where my wife comes in very handy. I often have her up the shed and say, look, what colour is this? What have I got one near enough? And and believe it or not, when I used to work in a factory, what used to make stationery using the plastic binders and stuff, and that's the first time I came across so many different shades of white, and I thought, well, white's white, and no, it's not. Yeah, and I thought, well, that's scuppered me. If it hadn't got a label on the end of it, I was knackered.
Yeah.
So same with cars. I mean, I used to argue that car. What car is that? Black? No, it's not. It's dark green. No, it's black. No, it's dark green.
It's a very one-off colour. That Joe car. It's a bluey green. It's metallic. Yeah. I know that people were struggling to get a colour to match the UFO Interceptor, but we've since found out there's a jade that's come out from iCoat that's very close that you could get away with. I did see one guy.
It's like anything else. You know, I mean, you can get, as long as it's in the ballpark. If you're going to keep it for yourself and it's in the ballpark, you know, then it's fine. I think, because some of them colours are old colours, and you know. As we've discovered with Michael, when we got all those Mercedes together, and there was 8 Mercedes-Benz, and they were all the same company, they were all the same car, and they were all a different shade of red.
Yeah.
You know, it's just the way it is. You know,
and bless him, he's in the chat now. Good morning, Michael. Good to see you.
Morning, Michael.
Michael,
how's your wallet?
So let me. I just want to touch back on the Joe car. The thing that I found difficult with the Joe car, Andy, is to get the light working at the back. I haven't completed mine yet, but if you can't get that light working, it's a pain in the arse. It's very, very fragile as well. Andy's saying that was a donation. JMO saying they are, never buy off them. Beep, 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 beep. Michael saying good morning from Australia. Good day, Michael from Andy. Good day, Mark. Good day, morning, Andy from Michael. Wow. Kev, a big thumbs up from on that reply, guys. No problem, Kev. Great member of our community. Great member of our taverners as well. Michael's giving me a kick up the pants. It's Canadian dollars. Thank you, my friend. I'm a red-green colourblind. It doesn't help, says Andy. Best plan I have is to get the paint mixed at my local spray shop regarding the Joe 90. If you've got the facilities to do it, mate, go for it. But that will be expensive. No.
12 quid.
Do they put like an electronic device on the paint chip and it tells them?
I think the name of it now. Yeah, it shines like a light onto it. It just picks up what the pigments that's in there. Spectrometer or something like that. It's called.
Oh yeah, spectrometer.
But even that, Mark, it's still not accurate. I've had paints done, especially on all the cars. You take the petrol cap in or whatever. There's no paint coat for it. It's been a metallic, and you get it back. It's only as good as a person mixing it. If they've got a good eye, they're all right. What I tend to do, whatever colour I needed when I was spraying, obviously the bigger cars, I'd come home and if it didn't look right, I'd just tint it myself, and 9 times out of 10 it was all right. Now I've still got a charging machine here. Well, it's a handheld one for filling cans up. Now if you can get some, you can buy the pre-charged charge cans. It's got the gas in. I can mix the colour and add it into that can. But you got to buy the obviously the cans with the gas in. But I can mix colours up here, not a problem.
There was a video I saw on YouTube, and forgive me, I don't know whether the guy was Japanese or Chinese, but he was able to look at a colour by eye and actually mix it by hand.
I saw that. Yeah.
And I thought that's stunning. That is, it's amazing what you can. What you can do. I know we're getting on to probably. We're going off topic slightly, but
colours. If you look at the Dinkies, more Dinkies than Corgis, I suppose. The paint fades on the outside for a start off over the years.
Yeah.
And then if you go by the inside colour, which is not necessarily true because all that is overspray, it's going to be a different colour anyway. You know,
Jerry
so
Chinese, you know.
it's very difficult to match up the original colour. Very difficult.
Well, the irony is, if you want to do the UFO intercept, it wasn't bloody green anyway. It was white in the TV series. It's only because we've had this discussion before. You know, when Dinky have overcompensated on how much paint they've got left in the back room, we've got to use up all this jade green. What we're going to paint jade green? Well,
but basically that's the sort of thing you do in production like that. Because at the end of the day, these were toys and sold to children. So at the end of the day, it was what was catching the eye. You know, if we did it original white, would it catch the eye of a child, or would a nice gopping lime, sparkly, green, goldy, orange-legged monster, you know, we'll go for that.
Right, on it.
You know, but don't forget it was the 70s, and that, you know, in them days, things happened, didn't they? You know, in the 60s and 70s. Yeah. Funny. Oh, I've lost my. I've muted again.
PJ's muted there, I think.
Yeah, I'm back now. Yeah.
You there now, Martin?
Yeah, I'm there now.
The
internet's a bit rubbish here in a minute. So, yeah. Apologise.
I think, by the looks of it.
Yeah.
Unless
you talking to himself?
I think he's took a phone call, actually, Martin.
Ah, right. Yeah. Okay.
By the looks of it. Yeah, he's on the phone.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the trouble with sometimes the internet falls in and out all the time, especially here where I am at the minute.
It's a time of night as well, Martin. Everyone's home streaming, aren't they?
Yeah. I find that when I go to the coast in the caravan, you think, oh, get on. All of a sudden, bang, it's all gone because everybody else is loading up and getting on there, you know. Yeah,
what are you building now there, Martin?
What am I building?
Yeah, what have you got?
I'm just doing this like a Technics thing, yeah.
Oh, was that one from last night?
Yeah.
It's coming along, right?
Yeah. It's all right. It's something to do. I like to keep myself busy doing stuff, messing about. I think the dining room's turned into a bit of a museum come hobby room at the minute. I've got all my cabinets behind me, traction engine. I've got stuff all over here. So
that one you built is absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah. My wife's very, very patient. My wife, very patient with me.
Oh, I'm not allowed them in the house, Martin. She won't have it.
No.
She won't have it.
No, very good for me. I'm all right. Mind you, I'm running out of space fast. I must admit, running out of space fast.
I need to put some more shelving up in it.
Yeah.
Definitely. I'm putting them all back in boxes now.
I'm going to have to start thinning out my collection a bit, I think, of the Diecast. I think I'm going to put some on eBay or distribute some amongst the lads because I've got far too much now. I need to thin some out, probably some Matchbox and stuff like this. I tell you what, Luke, I've got some 1/18 scale.
Yeah.
Now, how do you fancy? I want to get an XJ220.
Yeah.
To put in my collection. I've got a lot of XJ220s, but there is one out there what they made a 1-to-1 car, which was yellow, TWR, yellow racing, and I need to find a picture. What I want to do, I want to go 1/18 scale 220, and I want to strip it down, and I'd like you to paint it for me. Yeah,
probably,
and I can put it back together.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Maybe do a video with that, Martin.
Yeah, we could do a collaboration video.
Yeah, collaboration with it. Yeah, I'd enjoy that, mate. Yeah, no problem.
So I'm gonna look up and see if I can find the up-to-date pictures. I think they made a couple of them. I don't think there was many body modifications done on it.
Yeah.
on the original, but I know it was yellow, and I'm not sure about the TWR writing, whether it was black or green. I can't remember. Andy might, if he's watching.
Yeah, I didn't know.
I'd like to add one for my to my collection, because I haven't got one of those. I've got the silver, I've got the burgundy, the red, and the others, but I haven't got a yellow one. And that would be super. That would make a good video.
Yeah, it would, mate. Collaboration, definitely, mate. Yeah, get that sorted, man. I'm free whenever you are, mate. We'll squeeze it in between.
Yeah. I mean, there's no rush at the minute, but yeah, it'll be something, maybe something around Christmas time.
Yeah, definitely. Christmas vid.
Do a Christmas special or something. Yeah,
Christmas special with it. Yeah, be good, that, Martin. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, because it'd be nice. Yeah, because I do like the 1/18th scale, because there's some nice ones out there.
They're a good scale to work on. There's plenty of detail on them as well.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, and some of the plastic parts are okay. You can clean them up and make them, enhance them a bit better than what they are. You can change the seat belts from plastic to silk ribbon. I used to use a lot of silk ribbon for the seat belts in the 124 scale cars at one time. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Have you ever bothered doing, like, you see some of the videos on YouTube when they're dressing the engine up, putting all the pipe work on, and the HT leads and the spark plugs? I'm thinking of having a go with that. Have you ever done all like that?
I have done them on 124 scale cars, plastic kits. But really on the Matchbox and the Dinkies, the engine's not really got the depth to do it. But I have thought, there is a guy, I saw a resin Escort Cosworth engine in 143 scale on eBay. Yeah. And I did have the idea of cutting out the engine bay in a Dinky Escort and installing the engine and putting the plug wires on. Yeah, the plug wires, you can either use solder, you can get, if you want to go to someone like Protec, that they can sell you the plug wires and the boots, but you can do it yourself out of, the BT cable, the BT telephone cable. Yeah. It comes in multi-strands where you can use strip that and use that. Yeah. And you can buy, I've got a set of micro drill bits. Yeah. And I mean, talking micro, some of them are less than a millimeter, 0.3, 0.4, and they're ideal for drilling in. Yeah. It can be done. It will look nice.
I don't think I'll video it first, but see how one comes out. I just fancy doing something like that. Just something with a lot of detail. That's something I fancy doing soon.
Yeah, I think you might be better off going sort of a bit upscale, a bit more sort of 124. Yeah, 118. Like some of the Barongos or something like that, or they're usually quite good. They've got some engine detail in them, haven't they? Yeah, they have. You can try some of that. That might work. That might work. But with standard diecast, it's a bit tricky because the engine bays aren't great on them, although the best you can do is paint a bit of detail in on them. Yeah, it's all right. So that's all you can do with them, really, isn't it? Yeah, there's one or two things you can do, I suppose. Like you can put in bonnet stays. You can do that with a pin. A pin, you can bend a pin and fill a slot hole and do a bonnet so it stays up. Stuff like this. All manner of things. I've got a Hearst on the back burner at the minute. It's been on the back burner about 3 years, to be honest with you. I got it shaped right, and I was having trouble with the back door because the original, it was a Criterion ambulance Dinky toy. I've done the interior. I've got the sliding out part with the coffin on it, and I've got the curtains and I've got the interior, but I'm struggling to get the door to fit properly, get it to look right, because it was an up and over door previous, and I tried to put a side door on it, and it's not working out very well. So I might be using the other ambulance, which is the Corgi ambulance, which has got the side opening door. I think it's a Corgi, one of them side opening doors, a bigger one, but it's a slightly different shape. So I like it. It's more difficult to cut the roof to the shape that I want, because you got to take all the lights and sirens off and curve the roof, you know. So that's an ongoing project. That's one on the bench, the back of the bench, gathering dust.
Get to it eventually.
Get to it one day. One day I'll get to it. I really will. Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. So it's all go.
It is.
It's all go. So how you finding how you finding you doing your one a week? Though you finding it okay?
Yes. Surprising, Martin, how much you have to plan around it, even just for one video. Today I've been working on it. It's probably 3 hours today. I know it's only 3 hours, but still, you know, it's Saturday. You're off. Tomorrow is probably going to take 4 hours, maybe, out of me, and that'll be it. It'll be done. But then the week starts again, then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But
I find,
and I enjoy it, especially.
Sorry, Michael. I should have took myself off screen and should have closed my camera down. Sorry, I was just getting an update on my dad. So,
is he okay?
things. Well, obviously, Michael noticed things got a little bit heated. So there you go. I'll tell you later, Mark.
All right, yeah, okay.
In answer to your question, sorry, that's a bit offhanded. He's all right. He's all right.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's okay. That's good.
But he's got the old nozzles in his.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, that's fine.
Apologies, folks. Where did we get to?
We've just been waffling, me and Luke.
Saying,
I don't know. I think you got nobody in the chat now. Just me and Luke. Luke's just been saying waffling.
Michael was saying, Andy, go to auto parts store in the paint section. Look for Jubilee color metal cast paint. Jerry's saying Chinese. I think that was an answer to my is it Chinese or Japanese. Andy's saying I've never seen the cheap paint Martin gets it out for.
Yeah,
sorry, I'll say that again. I've never seen the cheap paint Martin gets it. I think it's when they've got a sale on, isn't it, Mark?
Yeah. What's happened now, Andy? If you go to Alphas now, I was telling PJ the other day, they've changed all their paints now. They've done away with all the old paint cans that they used to have with the some of the older colours, like the Sanglow and Nissan this and that and the other. They've cleared the whole lot out, and they've put all the brand new colours out. And to be honest with you, for me and you, Andy, it'll be totally rubbish because I can't. One shade, and you've got a whole row of white, and they all look white to me, and they've all got a different code. And below that is a whole row of blue, metallic blue, and I think, well, yeah, that's metallic blue, but there's about 9 shades amongst that lot, and I can't see it.
With that being said, though, Mark, is it still Vauxhall white or Ford white or?
Yeah, you've got a book, a flip chart.
Right. Okay.
If you go through and you roughly know what the colour's there, but it's done by code. So you go through the flip card, and if you've got a Ford Sierra or not Ford Sierra, if you've got a Ford Cougar, you know, it will tell you the colour. It'll tell you the colour, then it'll give you the code, and you look down on a rack, and there's the code, and there you go. Before you walk in there, and it'd have all the Jupiter red, Audi laser red, but none of that anymore. They still do the lacquer and the primer, and they do some enamel paint, but mostly it's all the new code. I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted. I was nearly in tears.
The Atlantic Blue was a prime example. They stopped doing that. We had a discussion about that. You know, I know. Look at my language. Sorry about that. About 3 years ago, about the Atlantic Blue, and Alpha stopped doing it. Yeah. And I think I got the last can. Anyway, so I know we're talking about paint, but this all feeds into when you first get your model, you've got to take into account how much it's going to cost you for a can of paint. And that can range anything from Mark, $6.99 till 12 quid, something like that.
Yeah, I think high coat now for is about £6 a can, the small ones. Opposed to Halfords, which were twice the size, were coming in at £11. you know. Let
So
me
my
just
car's got a lot of spray,
get most
Martin.
of your money. Yeah.
let me just shut the door, mate, because the telly's on.
Yeah, no worries.
How many cars are you spraying out of a can, PJ?
Go on, Luke. Say again. Sorry, buddy.
How many cars are you going to spray out of that one can? Is it about 3, 4, maybe?
Well, I mean, it's
Obviously
going to
depending on the
depend on
size.
scale, isn't it? You know, if you're doing
Yeah.
a 164, you can with the. I mean, Martin does 143 by definition. I do occasionally do 164 scale, and there is the case that if you're using iCoat cans on a 164 scale, you can flood the model. You know what I mean? So you,
Yeah.
like we've talked about in the past, when you strip that car back, one of the things that we do now and again on the YouTube channel is display a model after it's been stripped back, so that you can see all the details that are on the original chassis. It only takes 2 or 3 coats of an iCoat, and you've lost all that.
I would say with a smaller high coat can, for me doing a Dinky or a Corgi, I would probably get. So I normally put probably 2, 3 coats on mine.
Yeah.
And I would probably get two good cars out of it, you know.
Yeah.
Or a car on the truck, you know.
Yeah.
Depending. But I find some cans I had a disaster with that Atlas before I changed to using the white. Was that I was using some blue, and it was a quarter full, and I had warmed the can up, and I had the casting was warm, but when it came out, it was like glue. It was awful, and that's an instant. Well, it's an instant. My God moment, you know, and what we're going to do now, and so it was back in the stripper, and that was it. Happens. It happened. I think once before on another colour. I think it was a red. But normally they're okay. I don't have a problem with them.
What we've got to be careful is that you've got a bunch of blokes here that are very used to effing and blinding, and we're trying to keep it under control.
Oh no, it's difficult, isn't it?
This is hard going.
Yeah, but the helpers cans, the bigger cans, I'm do good with them. But I do get through a lot of primer and a lot of lacquer.
You do.
That's my big thing is primer and lacquer, because I like to prime it, rub it down, prime it.
Smokers' houses changes paint colours. Andy's saying, PJ, regarding the DMC Land Rover challenge, can we do Range Rovers? Yes, you can, sir, by all means, and thank you for taking part. Jerry saying the lady that lives in my house is a quilter, so every available inch of wall space has a quilt hanging on it. Okay.
Oh, a quilter. Yeah, I know what you mean. Makes a quilt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good soundproofing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Michael's saying, PJ needs to stop swearing. Some of us can lip read. You're just paying far too much good attention. Andy, too true, Luke, regarding 1 a week, and I'm retired. Yeah. Jerry, painting Canada is priced to discourage kids from tagging. Hard to find good cheap paint. Tagging, I imagine, is
it's on the walls, it's graffiti.
Yeah. Kev, I brought some tins of Color It spray paint.
Yeah, that's good paint. That's good paint. That is Color It.
From Amazon. In my opinion, I'm not over keen on them. In contrary to what you just said there.
Well, yeah. Well, what can I say?
Has any of you guys tried it? Well, Mark, in fairness, Mark, Kev said, have any of you guys tried this product before?
Yeah.
So have you tried it, Mark?
Color It, yeah. I when I'm down the coast, the cheap shops down there, they sell Color It. I've used a cream. The cottage cream is a nice cream. I've used the yellow, the sunshine yellow, and I've used 2 or 3. A black. I've used a black. It's okay. Yeah, it's on par with the rest. It's pretty good. It's a bit smelly. It's better than the Wilco's. What used to do Wilco's paint. It's better than the Wilco's. The spray pattern's okay; it's a bit big, but you got to remember when you don't do what I did when I bought one. You got to laugh at this. And I got it home, and I shook it up. I thought, yeah, I'm going to use this. This is a nice colour. Shaking it, and shaking it. Got it nice and warm. Took the cap off it.
Taylor Swift, shake it.
Went to spray it, and I thought, this is crap. And I'm pushing the lever down, and I'm pushing the lever. This is coming out like rubbish going on here. And I realised that I hadn't poked out the safety ring. Yeah. Because those colour, it's underneath the nozzle at the bottom.
Like
they've got
washer,
a plastic safety ring.
Yeah.
And I hadn't come across that before. So once I pulled that out, I was away like, great. Oh, what a wally, I tell you. But no, colour is okay.
When I'm a little bit concerned that we'll let him restore on his own without an adult being present.
Oh, if Michael's in the chat, Michael, he's turning up for you today, mate. All right.
Nice.
Yeah, these are gross. Right, sorry, carry on.
Andy's saying, it's all right, mate, don't worry. Andy's saying, I use the cheaper ones from Colour It Auto Extreme, rarely eye coat. I think me and Mark are probably the biggest proponents of using eye coat. Excuse me, because we've got the range so close.
Yeah.
And there's also a car shop that does eye coat on, and I can't think what.
Yeah, that's hang on, Motor Savers.
Yes, good lad. And they're very often doing sales on eye coat. So it's this all builds into your first initial purchase. What you're going to pay for your paints. Luke, you do on it comparatively. Do you mix paint as much as you buy it, or do you buy more paint?
I buy like the building blocks for the colours, if you like, the binders, the pigments. I buy them in. I was buying them in like half a litre tubs, but I've just gone to just 100 mils or 50 mils, just depending on what I'm running short of, and then I'll just knock a colour up.
And is that a liquid or a powder?
No, liquid.
Right. Okay.
Liquid.
That bit is going to be
obviously there's other stuff I've got. I use a lot of custom paints as well. I buy that off eBay, just for the candies. I've got a clear binder that you can mix like a metallic, like a blue that I've done the Zephyr with. But it's not the same. It just hasn't got the clarity that a proper candy has. So yeah, the candy paint or the chroma coats, I'll buy that off eBay.
It's amazing the skills we've got tucked away in this community when it starts to. He's big into his paints, is our Luke, and
he's using it. It's stuff I've used for a long time, so I've just brought it to the Diecast. It works for me. It's easy.
Jerry saying, "I've no room to display my." Good luck with that, my friend, because that affects about all of us, really.
Yeah. We were just talking about that.
Rebuilding, aren't you, mate? You've had to expand.
My missus won't have them in the house, mate. She won't wear it.
I live on my own, so even I'm, running out of room. Luke, what? I've never. So, play apps. Luke, what filler do you use? What filler did you use on Kit's rear headlights?
It's the same filler that I've used probably throughout. They probably took the tub's over a year old now. It's a U-Pol. It's a stage 3 easy sand filler. It's just normal body filler for a car. That's all you need. It's better than any putty you'll ever buy. Some of this Tamiya stuff that you can buy, better than any of that. So that's what I use. Buy some of that and you won't look back.
Yes. Note to self there, we really must start to add a list of products that we use on the Facebook channel, so we can give people advice, even if it's a spreadsheet or something like that, whether it be eye coat colours, whether it be fillers we've come across, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Andy saying, I find auto jumbles are good for cheap paint. That's not a bad call, mate.
Yeah.
That's not a bad call, Andy.
I think you can still get duplicate on some of them old auto jumbles, the old duplicate, which is a good paint, and you get some of the old Austin colours and Rover colours.
There's a place.
Martin.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right, mate. Michael saying thanks, Martin. I imagine that's the cars that you haven't scrapped or chucked in the bin yet that you're going to be sending over to us.
Yeah, it came this morning. Yeah, set my dogs off. That did.
And Play Apps is saying thanks. I think we're caught up on the chat. So, Matt, on behalf of the three of us and Laz, although he's not here, and the extended family of the Taverners, thank you guys in the chat for your questions, your points. Feel free to ask anything and everything. It's all most welcome. If you, I'm going to do the business side of things for a sec. If you feel like you want to support us, we have a Patreon page that helps to pay the bills around here. We use a piece of software called StreamYard, so we can do these displays. If you want to join us as a Patreon, it's set at $5, I think, which is something like $3.75. Much appreciated. Michael saying you'll need to paint the car gloss black, then paint it with the Duplicolor metal cast metallic silver, then the metal cast yellow and green. Wow, that's a mouthful. Okay, that makes more sense to you, Luke, than it does to me.
What's that for?
Pass. He's gonna tear me a new one when he next speaks to me. Do you want to explain that a little bit more? On what vehicle is that, Michael? You'll need to paint the car gloss black, then paint it with a Duplicolor metal cast metallic. The Joe 90 car, Michael. All right, okay.
Yeah.
You'll need to paint the car gloss black, then paint it with a Duplicolor metal cast metallic silver, then the metal cast yellow and green. Right, no, that's not going to happen. For the jade green, yes. Just a bit of feedback on that, Michael. We've found since we last looked into this a jade green for the Interceptor. iCoat now do a close matching jade green. However, the Joe's car is more of a blue green. It's a slightly different color altogether. The jade green is more the Interceptor model. Rear of the Dinky, yes, you're absolutely right, Michael. The rear of the Dinky Road Sweeper is the jade green, yeah. But if you look up the Joe 90, it's more of a blue than it is a green. Martin's done well. It must be cigarette time, bless him.
It says a bit early for toast, isn't it, for him?
A bit early for toast.
Yeah, a bit early for toast.
We haven't reached the 10 o'clock toast time. If you didn't know one of Martin Dare's secrets, he's big into his toast. Don't tell anybody. I will put the Joe cart in the queue and see how we go. He's back. We didn't know whether he'd gone for toast.
No. That'd be no. I wouldn't be that rude. No. No.
You bloody would. Nothing interrupts toast time.
Yeah, but it's getting close.
Getting close.
We said about 10 o'clock. Getting close to 10 because it must be toast time.
Yeah, the gremlins are chewing away at my stomach now.
We often we were talking about this before we went on to say, how are we going to make an hour up? It's been an hour and 34 minutes, gents. So it's not been a problem. My thanks to everybody in the chat, to my partners in crime, to Martin, to Luke. Sadly, as we say, Laz couldn't make it this week, but I'm sure he'll be back next time round.
Wonder what he cooked.
Yeah, if he's cleaned up enough, if his other half lets him, he's got to pass the cleaning test first.
The white glove test.
Next time, not this week, not the following week, but the week after, on the 29th, God help us all, we will have Mr. Paul James from Pimp My Diecast here. Hold your breath, sit down, get a stiff drink, because there's no telling what might happen. We might all get bored off YouTube by the time that session's done. Looking forward to it. To everybody in the chat, thanks, boys. Thanks for joining us. And Luke, good evening, and thank you, my friend.
Yes,
Martin,
BJ.
the same.
You're welcome. Welcome, mate. Welcome.
Right, everybody.
And we'll see you in a couple of weeks. So thanks, thanks everybody, and we'll see you soon.
See you.
Cheers.
Take care. See you later. Bye.